I'm back, bitches.
What's up?
I'm the captain now. This is Garrison, and I'm here with Sarah, and we're going to talk about Deja-Vu today. Sarah, what did you want to talk about?
All right, so I looked up some various theories about why deja vu comes around. One of the first ones I thought of was mix up of senses and memory. So a lot of these are like scientific studies that they've done. This one in particular, there was a study called the Grant et al. Study, and it's basically like memory and context is dependent. So when you go out and you see something, you kind of contextually memorize that, and it puts it in your recall memory. And it's better if you're in that same place at the same time. So like you go to the same place and you have the same deja vu experience, even though you've already experienced it in the same place before. So it's kind of like one of the main theories that I found that was actually studied. So um, that one's not terrible.
So you said they experience this at the same time and same place?
Yeah, so it's like the idea that you've been in the same place at the same, like at a different time, but you just went back there and you thought you had deja vu.
Hmm. So is that sort of like, because I heard this thing where your eyes receive the information at slightly different times.
Mm-hmm.
So
So like your left versus your right eye?
right, so they reach your brain at different times. So
Mm-hmm.
you think that you've been there uh, earlier, but you really haven't because it's just the
Your memories being weird, your eyes are being
right,
weird.
yeah.
I mean,
Is that kind of what you're saying?
I don't think so. It says that you can recall information better if placed in the same environment which memory was created. So, like, if you were like a kid and you went to a park, and then later on in life you came back to that same park, you were like, huh, deja vu. I don't know. I feel like that one's like pretty popular. That sounds like a pretty similar thing, but oh, I've been to this park before. Durr. One of the other ones I found was dual processing. This might be kind of like what you're talking about. It like involves memory and higher processing. It's basically transferred from short-term memory to long-term memory. So the dual processing is like the idea that your short-term memory will accept something, but until it's transferred into long-term memory, it doesn't actually become like a memory. So you think that you're having deja vu when really it was just like your short term memory being like, oh dude, come on. You've already gone through this before. That one's not terrible. Um Parallel universe theory. Have you heard of that one?
I've never heard of it, but I've been thinking about it.
What do you think about it?
I think that it's awesome. I mean, I would, I hope that one's true.
Okay, so parallel universe theory is the idea that experiencing lives of other parallel selves. So through deja vu, whenever you have deja vu, you're really just kind of like living part of your parallel self. But there is no scientific evidence of this. So, I mean, we already kind of like theorize that we live in parallel universes, but that's because time is infinite. So hold on, but we'll come back to that because there's another theory that's based off of time. And then there's the familiarity based recognition. So this is basically remembering something that is encoded so far into our recall memory that it uses faint memories to come up with deja vu. So a lot of these are based off of memory and sensory recall, which makes sense because like your brain is so complex that it's I think it's hard to describe where these things come from because we really don't know that much about the brain,
Right.
frankly.
I wonder if, say, pathological liars, or I guess really anyone really, if because they've rehearsed certain false stories in their mind, can they recall something that never actually happened?
You know what? I mean, there's studies on false memories. Like if you tell somebody that you were raped as a kid, like there's been studies of this. Like say you were molested as a kid and I told you that and then you would come up with some like weird memory where you're like, "Oh, you know what? I really think I was." And then you'd be automatically traumatized by it for some weird automatic reason. Your brain just tells you. But I think it's because like we're kids, like our brains don't process the same as when we're adults. So like if that happened to you as an adult, like you know you'd remember that. I mean, unless you like had some weird super traumatic session and you decided to forget it.
Have you heard about the woman with like 7 personalities?
Yeah, I was watching that
Yeah.
documentary on Netflix. That was
Yeah.
pretty neat. But man, that is so creepy to watch. Watching her switch from one personality to the next. It's like she'll be like a normal, well, somewhat normal functioning adult, and then all of a sudden she'll switch to being a child.
Mhm.
And she just got this like baby voice. She's crazy, man. I mean, you know.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that the idea is crazy. The fact that that happened.
Yeah, weren't they saying something? I think that they quite didn't nail what was happening because I think I remember something about a cult or something.
Okay, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, there was like a cult and like Satan or something,
Oh wow.
and then one where she was maybe
Molested.
Yeah. Um, yeah, just that's pretty wild.
I don't remember the cult one, but I definitely remember the molestation one. So the hologram theory, this is probably one of my favorite ones too. This one is based off of the idea that memories are formed like three-dimensional images. So like when you recall a memory, you can remember sights, tastes, smells, um, feelings of things. And this one was documented by Herman Snow. That's SNO, not no W at the end. So the entire formation of any memory can be created by one element. So if you go to the grocery store and like this was their example. If you go to the grocery store and you pick up like a can of soup, you might have deja vu thinking about the fact that that can of soup is made from the same metal as like a handlebar that you had on a bike as when you were a kid. I think that one was pretty cool. That made sense to me.
Wait, so you said they were stored like 3D images?
Yeah, like three-dimensional images.
Just
so
in your head? Or?
Yeah, in your head, because we all have different senses that can perceive so many different factors of any memory. The idea that something like that happens is actually kind of cool because then if you train your memory enough, you could probably recreate any kind of image or memory or sense just by memory.
I think that's sort of like touching the metals, like you said. Smell, I think, or taste can make you recall certain memories as well.
Yeah, like I mean, okay, so I'm really weird about certain things, like textures. I find textures absolutely amazing, especially like rough textures. So like whenever I'm like out and about, like I'll go and like touch walls, and like I just love the feeling of like walls, like like at Sinclair, how they have those like rough walls. I don't know, I just like I love that feeling of it, and like super soft things. So
cool.
Yep. I don't know of these ones. Which one's your favorite?
The parallel universe.
So far, yes. I think the parallel universe is my favorite too, but
most likely
we can't prove it.
The most likely, the first one.
The mix-up of senses and memory.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense too. So I know that you've got some cool terminology for us. Will you describe deja vu?
Yeah, deja vu. Deja vu is something. Is the phenomenon of having the feeling that the situation currently being experienced has already been experienced in the past. Deja vu is French for already seen, and we've been talking about that for a little while now. But there's also the opposite, which is called jamais vu, which is essentially the feeling that something familiar appears unfamiliar or strange. So jamais vu, I was having some trouble kind of wrapping my head around this because I don't think I've experienced it too much. The only thing that I've found out about it was this example that saying a word can consistently can lose its meaning. So, do you have any other ideas about jamais vu that?
For me, it sounds like jamais vu is like when I know somebody I met like I don't know years ago comes up to me and says, "Oh, you know, Sarah, how have you been?" And I'm like, I don't know who you are, but you know, and then like as soon as they tell me their name and where they know me from, I feel like that's like jamais vu, where you just completely forget this person of your life.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe they just weren't that important. I don't know.
So, would you say people with Alzheimer's have
Usually like a
jamais
jamais
vu?
vu. I don't know, maybe like or like amnesia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Amnesia, yeah. That's probably just as fitting.
You know what sounds scary? It's like the idea that people with Alzheimer's probably have constant deja vu. That sounds terrifying.
Well, let's just hope that they're put out of their misery misery relatively soon. Is that bad?
No, I think it's you know it's a terrible disease. I don't think anybody should have to live with that.
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that. Of constantly your memory constantly fades in and out, and you're surrounded by people that know and love you, but you don't recognize them
God,
or know why you're there or anything. That's kind of scary.
it's terrifying. Like my great aunt, Laura, you know, she's passed away now, but it's probably been about a year now since she passed away, actually. She had dementia, which I guess is different. It's like a blockage of something in the brain, or Alzheimer's. It's like an actual disease of the brain, and she would like towards when she started to completely just become kind of like a zombie or a vegetable, she would go driving and then in the middle of traffic forget where she was. So, you know, people with Alzheimer's, man, like you really gotta, if you start forgetting things pretty soon, you gotta tell people, even though if it's embarrassing, you know, because who knows, maybe there's like a cure for it someday.
Right. I'm actually kind of surprised that I haven't heard more from people like dying in the middle of the road while they're driving or crashing into something because of they had a heart attack
Yeah.
or memory loss or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just not reported by the families.
Good point.
But have you ever like when was the last time you think you had deja vu?
It was 1997. It's been quite a while. They're usually when I have experienced them, they're usually these like very brief moments, and I feel a tinge of like fear or paranoia or something? So you feel that same way? Or
No, mine's not like fear or paranoia. I'm just like, I've been here before. I just had deja vu.
do you ever like look back like someone's looking at you?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
sometimes where it's like, it's like an out of body experience.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I had deja vu, but like every now and again, I'll get it like 10 times in 1 week. And then after that, it like doesn't happen again. But I used to have a lot of deja vu when I was a kid, which is like very visual memory, and I just had deja vu a lot.
Cool.
It's extremely good visual recognition.
So when I was doing my research, I found that deja vu usually starts around age 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And people that have a lot of deja vu have experienced like a brain injury.
Oh.
So, is there something you want to tell us?
I don't know. Maybe I should ask my mom and dad what happened.
Did they drop you on your head too many times?
No, but there was like a giant video case when I was a baby that fell on my face. So that's why I have a crooked nose.
Oh.
So my nose is probably just like in my brain, just kind of hanging out there.
Well, at least you're in good company. There's Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson's a nice role model.
Sure.
To look up to.
Rambo.
Good point. So Presque-Vu is the experience of knowing something but not quite being able to put your finger on it. You can't quite recall what it is that you know. And I've had this quite a few times where I'll want to know someone's name, and I know that I know it, but I just can't say it, or like some fact or something. But once I change the subject, the memory usually comes back.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying. So it's like when like I'm trying to remember the name of an artist or a song, and like I just can't remember it.
Right.
Okay, so that's Presque-Vu?
Right.
Okay, it's good to know. And then the other one is Jamais-Vu?
Yep.
Okay, good to remember.
And then the other one is Deja-Vu. I don't know if you've heard
Deja
about that one.
vu, Jamais-Vu, Presque-Vu. I like these words.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Ce soir.
I think that's all for part 1. We'll be right back with part 2. See you later.
Thanks.
Hey, we're back. This is Garrison.
Hi. This is Sarah.
Okay, so Deja Vu.
These 2-parters are going really well, by the way. I'll be honest with you. I'm liking the 2-parters. Because I get just like a 5 to 10 minute break in between, and then, we kind of discuss things. So there was like 10 theories in total that I kind of wanted to go over, and we kind of saved the second part to go over the last 5 theories, which I think are probably the coolest of all of the 10. Precognitive dreams. This is the idea that dreams can predict something. So, and can predict the future. So I guess there's been people that have said that when they dream something, like they predicted the Titanic sinking, or that it suggests that we also have a subconscious sixth sense. So maybe that's what deja vu is.
I really hope that's not true, because I've had this recurring dream of the moon signifying the end of the world.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
And just recently we had that eclipse. Now, obviously the world's not over, but what if that was just a signal of...
Okay, well now you're going to have to tell us about your dream.
Well, I've had several. They're not the exact same, but they always involve the moon. The last one that I had was about this giant moon crashing onto Earth killing everyone.
It's very symbolic.
One of my moon dreams had this moon, and it was and the sun was setting, but the moon had numbers on it, and it was counting down.
Oh God!
Yeah, and it was counting down, and it got to one, and I woke up. So,
have you been drinking milk before you go to bed?
No.
Soy
Why?
milk.
Why?
I've heard that like drinking milk before you go to sleep gives you bad dreams.
Gives you bad gas too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But maybe I don't know.
And I had stuff about like red skies and things like that. Yeah, scary stuff.
I think you're a prophet.
I hope not.
You should write this stuff down and put it in a book and see if somebody will follow you. The Wortham. Wait, the Wortham. What do you want to call it?
The Wortham.
The Wortham word.
Good.
Yep. Okay.
Alliteration. You can never go wrong with alliteration.
Never. Okay, so the next one is the divided attention theory. This one is based off of subliminal messaging, and it can create a stimulus in your brain, which later on might suggest that you have deja vu. And it uses your subconscious mind. So, like, a lot of, like, advertising media will use this, and then, like, so, like, you'll see these subconscious subliminal messaging in advertisements, and then you go to, like, the grocery store and be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry for those Oreos, but you've no idea why you're hungry for Oreos, and it's because you've seen this somewhere else.
Yeah. Those guys are geniuses at marketing those kinds of things. Like, they use the right colors, the right words. You know, it's kind of like mind control or brainwashing in a way.
Right. I know you can't see me, but I'm nodding my head because it's awesome. Well, it's like when you hear running water and you have to pee.
That never.
Oh, that happens to me all the time. I hate it. Whenever like when I'm about to get in the shower and like I don't have to pee before, but then like I'll get in the shower and I have to pee.
Doesn't everyone just pee in the shower though?
Not everybody. Not everybody, Garrison.
They need to put that in a higher priority in their life.
Because being in the shower is super important.
It is one stop shop.
You don't do number 2 in the shower, then, do you?
No.
Okay. That's a whole nother story there. I don't know if something like the sound of something makes you have to poop. There's like the brown nope. That's about it.
The brown nope.
Note.
Oh, what's that?
The brown note. Have you ever heard of that?
Is that where you like smear?
No. No, it's like a pitch of sound that when played is supposed to be able to make you poop. There's a whole South Park episode about this. It's actually really funny. They like make the entire town poop at once. You gotta love those creators.
Yeah.
So the next theory is the amygdala theory. This is a small region of the brain that can help determine anger and fear. This one is actually pretty cool because this would explain why maybe you do feel like anxious and anxiety when you feel deja vu, Garrison. Because this is supposed to disorient the brain to react to danger. So, like, one of the examples I gave was like, when you're standing underneath a falling tree, your brain becomes disoriented so that you can react fast enough to the idea of something falling on you. So, the amygdala might be in charge of some of these deja vu things that you've been having, where you feel the sense of fear or anxiety or anger.
Interesting.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it deja vu, but have you ever experienced something like you're at a place, you're usually by yourself, and there's usually like old sort of antique type things around,
Hmm.
and you may look at it, you may touch it, you may smell it, and it sort of takes you back to a time that you certainly never e- experienced, and certain thoughts begin to flood your head, and you get sort of disoriented or weird. Has that
Hmm.
ever happened to you?
Yeah, sometimes like when you go like into an antique shop or something and you're like wondering about all the different people that owned those random things. Yeah, I just imagine a bunch of old people.
Uh-huh. Or dead people.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably dead people. Oh God, like dolls and shit like that scare the shit out of me in antique shops. Cause you like the little girls. Oh,
Right.
it's terrifying.
The ones that have like the moving eyes, I think.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, they don't show like the ones that are like destroyed usually, like in antique shops, but even still, like you gotta wonder what kind of creepy old lady or little girl had that little doll.
And they're porcelain too, so it's not like you can really play with it. You just kind of sit them on your shelf or something, right?
Yeah, most of the old ones, just man, creepy shit, man. Or like yeah, like when you go somewhere. I don't know. Like I've been to some like majorly historical places. So like I've been to like Athens, Greece, and like um, Persepolis, where like kings have reigned, or czars and shahs, and you can feel the history behind those places, like all the work that got put into these, or maybe some of the people that died trying to make these giant things. I don't know if that's deja vu though.
Probably not. You're probably just enthralled by the majesty of ancient culture, something like that.
Maybe that could be it. So one of the last ones I have is called reincarnation. I'm sure all of you have known that, but this is the idea that deja vu can be experienced as a past life. So whenever you have deja vu, you're really just remembering that your past life had been there or done that. But a lot of people that believe in reincarnation don't necessarily think that memories pass on from one life to the next. So you shouldn't be able to remember these things. So this is also one that has not been scientifically proven.
Right. I used to entertain this idea, and I say that because I I had a fondness of like old music and like shows and like old things like that. But I took a step back and realized that this interest only went so far, like maybe 2, 3, 4 decades back, and not like hundreds of years back.
Well, they don't have movies hundreds of years
Bad music.
back. It's a good point.
But then again, what if reincarnation, you can only recall your most recent lives, So that could be a, a thing to think about, but I don't know. There's just no real way to prove it.
Well, okay, so this is my problem with reincarnation, right? So if people are reincarnated, then are there just like new souls that are created when more people come about? Like I'm just thinking about population wise. Like you can't spread souls around like multiple bodies, can you?
Well, reincarnation isn't exclusive to human beings.
Okay.
So if you've lived a bad life, then you would probably be reincarnated as like a flea or something.
Sure.
But if I guess a cat lived an extraordinary good life, then it gets reincarnated as a human.
That's a good kitty. Gonzo's a good cat. That's my cat. Okay, so you're saying like animals can become humans then in reincarnation? Or like you can go backwards?
I'm not sure if an animal can reincarnate as a human, but humans can reincarnate as animals.
Seems a little kind of speciesist. Maybe that's just me.
But also, what if it's not just bound to Earth? You know, what if there's hundreds of other humanoid species that can reincarnate on another planet? You know,
I'd feel so bad for other animals or aliens that came to Earth. They'd be like, I mean, they wouldn't remember it, but they'd be like, God, my life sucks. Maybe that's why people do feel like aliens, you know? We are aliens.
Yep. The reptilians are among us.
Yes, exactly. So my last theory, and this one's probably the coolest one, is called the glitch theory. And this was suggested by Einstein that there is no such thing as time because time is a man-made concept. And deja vu is a glitch in the perceived reality because the past, the present, and the future are all happening at once. So if there is a deja vu, you might be experiencing the past, you might be experiencing the present, or the future, because no one can really tell you what time is. It's just a concept that man created to systematically perceive what this giant idea was.
Right.
Bless you.
That was a burp. But I feel that people tend to put simple labels on things, and I think oftentimes that can be a detriment and limit certain ideas and possibilities. Like time, you know, like past, present, and future. That's like two things, but it's more of a gradient. For like that's how I perceive it as.
That's a good concept, like a good imagery that you just kind of added.
Right. It's a gradient. But also, time sort of, even when we're in space, right? Time goes differently than it does here. Like, if you were to go in space for a certain period of time, you would be like several. What? I guess it matters how long you were in space, but you would be like minutes, hours, days, years younger than you would be on Earth. And I'm talking about time and space. What were we talking about? Okay.
Yeah, past, present, and future. Well, I mean, you'd have to be traveling light years, and we don't know of anything that can travel faster than light as of right now. Except for time, because time, time is irrelevant, really. Because if you can travel through time, then you're traveling faster than light.
Okay.
Because basically we measure time by light. It's crazy. Science is crazy. But yeah, there's also still no scientific evidence to back this up.
It's a good idea, though. I mean, it's a good theory. It's entertaining to think about.
Could be a glitch in the Matrix.
Yes.
That's not one of the theories I found, but...
Like simulation?
Yeah. It could be just like a glitch in your code. Oh shit, she's remembering things we did to her.
like like Rick and Morty is really good with like playing with different ideas like that. I'm not sure if this relates to what we're talking about, but the episode uh, where Rick and Jerry were in that simulation
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't like nudity and stuff like that, like little weird things like that. Do you remember that alien species they were looking? They wanted Rick to like make some sort of power system, and Jerry was adequate in this simulation. And then
I'm trying to remember which one that is.
it was season two, I think. Season two.
Was it like this last week of episode? No. Damn. I don't know. The only one I can think of right now is the one where they actually have like the parallel universes where like
Oh, with the where they second guessed themselves.
yes,
Yeah.
that was the best one I think to fully describe parallel universes because so many things could go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every thought that we've had, we've made, but in a different reality. That's that. I mean, that those possibilities add up quickly. So virtually endless me's and you's.
But yeah, you could have like you don't exist in one parallel universe where
Right.
you're probably like an old man in another one.
An old man in right now,
Yeah, like in another one.
possibly.
Like, do you ever like? Okay, so I've got this weird thing where like sometimes I imagine myself as like an old man, but like like a wise old man because like old men are perceived as wise, right? So do you perceive yourself as an old man or an old woman?
Right now.
Yeah.
Um. Neither.
Oh, damn it. I guess I'm the only one.
I mean, wait. Why are you an old man? Because you perceive yourself as wise. Is that why?
Yeah.
So, isn't that kind of stereotyping old women as not being wise?
It's not to say that they're not wise, but they are cray cray sometimes.
I mean, you have a cat here, so you probably be the old cat lady.
Damn,
Yeah.
you're right. Okay, well, thank you guys. That's the end of my theories.
Okay, that's it for the theory of deja vu with Garrison and Sarah. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace, peace.